My name is Jonah Atkins. I'm a photographer and filmmaker from Norfolk County, Ontario, and I'm a graduate of Mohawk's Photography Still in Motion program. I've always been interested in photography, pretty much as long as I've been able to hold a camera. I was in high school where I really started experimenting with it and messing around, even just making ridiculous, funny videos with my friends. Just kind of got the gears turning of how, I enjoyed using a camera and just like the tactile experience. My school path started at Laurier in Brantford, actually. I attended for criminology. I did 3.5 years of a 4-year criminology degree before I realized this wasn't my path. I didn't feel that it was my path. When I first started taking pictures, I live out in the country and I've lived out on a farm basically for my entire life. So I didn't have, a city or even like a town to go outside and just have instantly like interesting pictures left and right, things happening, action, there was no action, there's nothing happening. So I had to like really look closely for things that I found interesting. So that kind of forced me to, again, take a microscope to everything and just like look for like the little details. So then that kind of detail-oriented photography became, I guess, kind of a style or kind of a perspective, a way of looking at things for me. The first big competition that I was a part of was, for stills photography, was the Skills Ontario competition in 2023. It was my first real portrait that I felt was in line with like my style. I ended up taking home the gold medal, and for me that was just kind of affirming that I'm doing something right. In 2021, 2022, I made a short film called World's Best Dad, which screened at the Hamilton Film Festival in 2021. It went on to win the Emerge Media Awards in 2022 in the short form film category. So that was a really amazing moment. This past year, in 2023, about a year ago, I entered the Sony World Photography Awards competition. I entered with a self-portrait that I took in front of the apple tree in my parents' backyard. And that ended up being shortlisted in the portraiture category, which was like a really amazing, just like kind of mind-blowing moment. That portrait was kind of born out of actual like creative exhaustion. I was feeling kind of down one day and just creatively spent. I looked outside and there was this apple tree with all the apples fallen on the ground. And the tree was bare, but all the apples were just like laying on the ground rotting, and I felt like that's kind of a visual representation of my mental state at the time. The picture I ended up entering actually was the very last picture I took that day, because the wind picked up and blew over my light literally like 2 seconds after the shutter fired. And I was like, well, I guess that's it for the day. And I went through the pictures and that was the one. I think one thing that has really helped my development as a photographer is finding a creative process. Having a creative process and having a creative vision is the single most important thing. All that matters is that you've got an image in your head that you want to capture. If you're a filmmaker, you should be able to watch the whole thing in your head before you even start shooting. Before I even started shooting on digital, which is now the industry standard, I actually started shooting on film. I forced myself to buy an old 35mm camera and learn how to, do everything film related. In the progression of like whatever style I have, I feel like that was a really instrumental part of it because it got me to slow down and think really carefully about my compositions. My family's been incredibly supportive with me throughout my time at Mohawk, and then even like the 1.5 years post-grad. Very supportive because like being freelance, it's not always easy. I wouldn't have gotten there, I don't think, if it weren't for the support of my family.